Your retirement dreams are out there. We can help you live them. This is Retire with Freedom with Birmingham's premier retirement planners, Tad and Tony Hill.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Retire with Freedom, the show that helps you build the retirement plan that you want. And today I am joined by my beautiful and talented wife, Tony, as opposed to the 4,000 other times we've done the show.
I was going to say, who else? What other wife do you have?
So we got a good show for you today.
Y'all call in and let me know if Tad has another wife on the radio that I don't know about.
Some other radio show on on the AM stations or something.
Yeah, I'm not listening to.
All right. Although I think we air on one or two AM stations too. So. Anyway, today, Tony, we're going to talk about what it's like to retire today versus what it was like 30, 40, 50 years ago, our parents' age. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you kind of kick us off here.
Yeah, so retiring today is way different. I mean, it's radically different than it used to be.
Right.
When our parents were retired. There were a lot of things going on then that aren't now, and there are a lot of things we've got going for us now that we didn't have then. So there's some positives and some negatives, but we have to look at what our opportunities, our options, and ideas that we want to examine based upon what we have access to today. So one of the things, people don't like to think about this because what the old adage was, you won't spend as much in retirement as you do, when you were working. There's some things you won't be doing, and that used to be true. I mean, I look at not even my parents. My parents are more active than that, but my grandparents,
well, I mean,
they had a pension. They stayed at home. They liked to do things around the house. My grandmother was good at growing vegetables and canning and doing all these different things.
I know my dad, I mean, literally like the proverbial, guys that played checkers down at the local gas station. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was the source of
what
they did. They
hung out in their
hung out on the porch and
yep. And so here's the thing. One of the things is healthcare.
Right.
So let me just start with that one. Expenses. So it's possible and not possible. Let me say this. I'm not saying it's always happens, but oftentimes being retired can be more expensive than when you were working.
Especially if you're going to travel, which most of our clients want to do.
Or especially if you don't have a pension at work, because that's one of the things, too, that used to be there that isn't as often. And also, coupled with that, we're living longer. And so the longer we live, we got to have that's more money we need to spend. It's got to last longer. Our health will deteriorate, but we'll still be around, and we'll still need surgeries or operations or medications. We still may have to travel to go get that help. We may need to go somewhere that has the best, care for whatever we need for whatever our condition is. So there's a lot of things that just didn't exist before. I mean, like I said,
it's not like people didn't have health problems, but
they didn't live as long.
Yeah, well, they didn't live as long, and there weren't as much stuff available, right, to deal with all that. So a lot of that can be expensive. And then, like I said earlier, the travel, the people that we help, Tony, are very active.
They are active, and they love.
They're active up until their 80s.
Well, here's what we talk about. There's 3 phases of retirement life. Not just life, but once you retire, that's when the gun goes off for us. That's the starting gate. So it's like the first 10 years are we call the go-go years.
Yep.
You're doing a lot of things. You're either visiting your family, your grandkids, you're taking them on trips, you're going to the beach. You're doing different things because you've been working your whole life, and you really, or at least one of you has, and y'all want to go do stuff together and do stuff with your family and different things like that. See parts of the world you've never seen before.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of bucket list things that people just want to do. And you get those in usually those first 10 years. And
so those are the go-go years.
When we hear that all the time, like, I want to do things while I still feel like it. Then the next 10 years, we call the slow go years. It's not that you're not doing things. You are doing some things, but mainly you're probably going to shorter trips. You're just going maybe to a local. You're
going down to the beach instead of to Italy or
the lake, or, there's a little slower, but then your health care starts kicking in, and you need to spend a little more on that. But those are not as active as the first 10 years. And then the last 10 years of retirement and beyond, because some people are living beyond that, we call the no-go years, which means y'all come see me, I'm in my recliner, which is where my dad is.
Yeah, that's right.
My mom's still a go-goer.
Well, if we go to your parents' house, the only way we're going to see your father is if we go back into the back room and see him.
So Gramps has his recliner back there, and that's who we see. And he just doesn't really get out of that room much, except for maybe one reason. But anyway, and my mom is still very active. My mom is literally,
Well, the women in your family live to be like 150.
Yeah, no,
So,
I mean, I really had an uncle that died in his garden at 104. I mean, and that was an uncle. So I mean, so we have such longevity in the family, which is wonderful and it's great. But still, like those slower years are like I'm just in my yard doing things. I'm doing things like this, but.
And so that's, we do a lot of talking about income planning in retirement.
Yep.
And if you think about it, here's what's going through your mind. Like, we don't even have to know you personally to know that this is what's going through your mind because we see it all the time. You know that paycheck is going to stop sometime soon, or maybe it already has. And maybe you planned on that, and maybe it got planned for you by the company that right-sized. I always love these new terms they have for this.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah.
So maybe you planned for it, maybe you didn't, but at some point the paychecks are going to stop. And how do you take what you've built over your lifetime and make sure that it's going to last? And that kind of income planning, Tony, that's the cornerstone. That's the foundation of what we do. Now, we do a lot of stuff, but the foundation of retirement planning is how are we going to support you and your family, you being our listener, how are we going to support you and your family and make sure that you're going to be okay and that everything's going to last, you're going to be able to pay the bills and not have to worry about it. That's really what a retirement plan and especially an income plan is built around. And Tony, we go in deep on explaining how to do that in the retirement course that we teach. And we do one at the Hoover Library, and we do one at Jeff State right here next door to our office. Yeah.
Close.
And we do one a month typically. And I've said this before, but if you're less than 10 years away from retirement, I cannot think of time better spent than you and your spouse coming to our course and let us go through and explain to you how a retirement plan needs to be built from the ground up. And we have a concept that we call our fiscal house, where we've got the foundation, the walls, the roof. We go through all of this. We talk about all the different ways to do income planning because there's a few ways to skin that cat. We talk about how are you going to make the right Social Security decision? How are you going to make the right pension decision if you're fortunate enough to have a pension? If not, how are we going to take your savings and turn that into an income plan for you? And this course that we do, it's about 2.5 hours or so. It's always on a Thursday night. And I really, really encourage you to come to the next one. Now, they tend to fill up, so I would call or text now. And if the one we've got coming up is full, we'll get you on the roster. We'll get you on the roster for the next one. But the way to do that is to call or text us at 205-988 0006. That's 205-988-0006. You can call or text that number. You can also go to askfreedomfinancial.com, askfreedomfinancial.com, fill out a request form, and we will get you signed up for the course. And if you can't remember any of that stuff, just Google Tad and Tony Hill.
You can't run from us.
We're not hard to find. Yeah. We're hard to miss. We're not hard. We're hard to miss. We're not hard to find. There, I said it right.
Easy.
Now, the other thing, and I really encourage folks to do both of these things because the course really goes through and talks through how to do retirement planning. But at some point, you got to figure out your own stuff because your stuff is different than anybody else's. And so our entire planning process is designed to help you figure that out. So we also do a series of free visits where we sit down with you, we get to know you, we ask a lot of questions, we figure out all the stuff that we would need to know if we were planning our own retirement, and then we talk about what you want, what your goals are, and then we do a lot of analysis and we get back together. Usually, Tony, this is 2 visits. We don't charge anything for, and we go through, and the class is a great foundational exercise to understand retirement planning. But then sitting down one-on-one is really where the rubber hits the road.
Right.
And we do that for you as well.
Yeah.
And same thing, go to askfreedomfinancial.com, call the number 205-988-0006. If you're not in Birmingham, we do visits all
over the place,
over the computer, all over the place. Even if you are in Birmingham, it's sometimes it's just more convenient.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, doing a visit over the computer is just as effective and sometimes more effective because it keeps us focused a little better sometimes. Yeah. And so I cannot encourage you enough. Let me say this. I can't guarantee you how you're going to feel, but I cannot imagine you coming to our course and I would do both, coming in and sitting down with us and you not feeling like it was some of the best time you've spent making sure that you and your family are prepared for retirement. So I really encourage you to do that. AskFreedomFinancial.com, Tad and Tony Hill, 205-988-0006. So, Tony, we've got about a minute left here.
Yeah.
What you got?
Oh, one thing I just want to add to that. Here's a good success story, too. So talking about people aging and all the different things and increase in spending, a lot of people are spending more money on fitness, nutrition, that kind of thing.
Right.
We had some clients come in here recently, and when they first became clients, they were still working and everything. And then, I don't know, I think I hadn't visited with them or seen them in about 2 years.
Okay.
And they looked amazing. I'm like, what in the heck are you guys doing? They're like, we love to cook, and we always have. We just didn't have time. We're eating healthy. We're cooking. We're doing all this fun stuff that we enjoy. And they look terrific.
Yeah, and they're getting out and like
healthier.
Like you and I love to hike.
Yep.
Like we go hiking and I like to go
great.
walking and all that kind of stuff. And then I have a trainer who's probably the most amazing trainer on the planet.
He
His
really
name's Roman McDonald. Actually, we've had him on the show before.
Yeah.
And he's a little bit of a sadist. He definitely
he tortures.
Yeah, he definitely tortures me, but it's worth it. And at our age, I mean, you got to be doing that, right?
You got to move more and eat good food.
Yeah.
Eat fresh food. That's all they said they were doing. We're moving around more. We were sitting at a desk and we were eating fast food and junk all day because we just ran out to lunch and got that. But now they're cooking and they're living a really good, healthy life, and it shows. They look great.
Well, and so the money has to last longer.
Exactly.
No, I mean, seriously.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
There are a lot of challenges facing retirees today that, again, our parents and grandparents didn't have.
Yep.
So, again, if you want to get this figured out, we know how to do this. We know how to help you. I strongly encourage you to come see us or to come to one of our courses. Give us a call. Look us up. Go to the website. Fill out a form. We'll get you signed up. 205-988-0006. Go to AskFreedomFinancial.com. Google Tad and Tony Hill. There's a lot of ways to find us. Give us a call. Give us a text. Go to the website. We're looking forward to seeing you at our next course, and we're looking forward to seeing you here in our office in Inverness. We'll be right back.
Sign up for a complimentary consultation with Tad and Tony. That's AskFreedomFinancial.com.